Hello, welcome to my dragon puppet tutorial. So the supplies you will need are some scissors, a pencil or writing utensil. I recommend having any micron pens, some coloring supplies. I use alcohol markers, but you can use whatever. I use tracing paper, not needed. Paper, I recommend cardstock. I use 110-pound cardstock and some kind of adhesive like hot glue, which is what I use. Please note before you begin making your dragon puppet that these puppets take a lot of time to make and you will not make one perfect on your first try. This puppet that I am making in this tutorial took me about 5 hours to make, so don't give up and just keep going. Now let's start. I always first start off by making a design for my dragon puppet. I start with 2 small circles and I use that as a base to draw my dragon's head. As you can see, it takes a lot of work and I erase and redraw a lot of parts of this design. If you are not interested in making your own design, you can search some up online and find free designs, but make sure you credit the original creator if they want credits. This dragon puppet design is not free to use, even with credits. You can take light inspiration and give credits, but please do not take heavy inspiration or just straight up copying, even if you do give credits for it. Now, back to the design. I found these light blue flowers in my room, so I decided to theme this dragon off it. So I put that in mind when I started designing the finer details, like the eye placement, pupil, and what the face looks like. The colors that you use while designing a puppet is also important. I recommend trying to find colors that work really well together. Side note, I had a lot of trouble with my storage while recording this video, so you might see some really weird cuts, just like that one before. Once I finished drawing out the design for the dragon, I went and tested out a bunch of colors to see what I would like to use for this dragon. I wanted to use light blue, light purple, and cream colors for this dragon, so I picked out the best markers that fit that theme and started coloring in my design. Once I finished coloring the design, I really got a nice sandy beach feel from this dragon, and that is why I decided to name it Coral. And now our design is done. Once my design was finished, I went and grabbed a couple pieces of tracing paper and started drawing out my design. You don't have to use tracing paper. I personally just find it easier. You can do the exact same thing on a normal sheet of paper or your cardstock paper. One thing to note is sometimes your design will look better than your actual dragon, and sometimes your actual dragon will look better than your design. So just keep fixing and maybe it'll get better. Once I finished drawing out my design on my piece of tracing paper, I grabbed a sheet of cardstock and I grabbed my light pad. You don't have to have a light pad. You can put your drawing up to your window or just a blank white screen like your computer screen. I then started to trace my entire design onto that cardstock piece of paper. That is why I like to use tracing paper more, but you can still use a normal piece of paper. It just doesn't trace as easily. Once I finished tracing the first side, I then flipped the paper over and started tracing onto the other side. For a lot of people, when they make dragon puppets, they make what they call the other side, what their dragon looked like when they died. So I decided to do that for this dragon by adding scars and blood. You don't have to do anything like this for your dragon. You can make both sides normal. I don't really care, but do whatever you want. Using the colors that I chose in my design, I start to go through and start to color some parts of my dragon. I start with making the nose black, and then I add blue to its head. If you are using markers, especially alcohol markers, one thing that I recommend is going over in many different layers. If you notice on the first layer, everything comes out very strokey and not as clean, but as you add on more layers, everything becomes smoother and a deeper, nicer color. I try to outline everything before I go in and color it, just so everything stays nice and clean. Again, I go through and color over and over what I've already colored, making sure every layer is nice and smooth. Once I have finished with the coloring, I go over with my micron pen. It's actually very hard to go over, so even though my lines look really nice right now, I can tell you I have a lot of mistakes. So if you go over with a micron pen, don't feel bad if you mess up. You don't need a micron pen. You can use anything such as Sharpies or black markers, even to colored pencils. You don't need a black outline at all anyways. I just think it makes the puppet look a lot nicer. Next, I go through and do the same thing for the other side. I color in everything, then I go over with a micron pen. Coloring takes a long time, and coloring both of these sides, just of the face, took me about an hour. So if you want everything to look really nice, expect it to take a lot of time. Once I finish with everything, I go over and erase all my pencil marks on the paper. Next, I grab my scissors and start to cut out my designs, making sure to make everything nice and to follow the lines. I also like to test how the dragon will look when it's finished, as you just saw, so you'll see a lot of that in the video. When I make the base, I fold up one of my pieces of cardstock, take one part of the head which I've already drawn, and trace it onto a piece of paper, then cut it out. These will be what I use to make part of the base. At this point, I also plug my hot glue gun in because I'm very close to start gluing things together. Once I have the two heads cut out, I test how it will look with the actual head and how the jaw will look on it. There's a lot of things that you actually need to test while making a puppet, such as where you want the jaw to be. Next, I take another piece of cardstock, trace how large my hand is, and make a weird triangle shape to be the inside of the base. I then cut it out. Make sure to not cut the little side flaps. We actually fold those flaps in so you can easily glue it to the puppet base. Next, I put the triangle up to where I would want it to be on the base, adjust it, and then use hot glue to glue it on together. There's a lot of testing on where I want the jaw to be, so don't mind how long this takes me. I also have to cut the triangle a bit shorter because I don't want my jaw to be that far back. There's a very long process to this, and I'm trying to explain it the best I can. This is probably not the best tutorial, so if you're still confused, try looking for other tutorials out there. I personally try to make my dragon puppet lined up the best, so you'll see me trying to make it flat on every angle and make sure every side is exactly even. Next, I glue that other triangle to the top of the head, making the top of the base. Next, I grab another sheet of cardstock and do the same thing for the bottom jaw, placing it and tracing out the design. Next, I take another sheet of cardstock, fold it in half, and trace the outside of this dragon. I make another triangle, but make sure to make this one smaller than the other one from before. That's because you need the smaller jaw to be smaller. I test how much it works, if it is small enough, and then I start to cut down the flap so I can glue it on to the base. Next, I do a lot of testing to see if I like how it looks so far. If it does, then I take it and start to glue it onto the other side, finishing the bottom and top of the bottom jaw. Next, I glue the other triangle to the bottom of this jaw. Mine has a weird curve on it, so I decide to cut the piece a little bit so it's bendable. Then I start to glue it on. Now, I grab another sheet of paper and cut out a little square. I cut some of the edges and fold it in half. This is what we'll use to stick the two jaws together. I put glue on one side and then I put glue on the other, making sure it connects to both parts of the triangles that you made. This makes sure that each part is connected and stable. Sometimes, if it doesn't work all the way, I put another triangle on the inside of the jaw, as I am doing now. Next, I cut out a longer rectangle to use as a ring. A ring is not needed for your dragons, I just find it a lot easier so it doesn't fall off your hand. This was not the best base making tutorial, so if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Or if you have anything else that you need, feel free to search up other base making tutorials, as I understand that I did not explain this the best. Next, I grab the faces that we made, I start to trim part of the base since it's uneven, and then I glue the face on. Now I do the same thing with the bottom jaw. And now you have a finished base. Now all that I have left are the ears. I started to sketch out an ear based on the design that I made before, seeing how it would look attached to the dragon as a whole. I then start putting in the finer details and designing it before I start to go through and color it. Now I outline it just like I did before with the dragon's faces, before cutting it out. Now I grab a new sheet of paper and use the ear that I've already designed to make the other one. Make sure to flip it around because this will go on the other side of your dragon. Next, I use my light pad to transfer the details from the first one, such as where the difference in color is, to the design on the second one. Now, once I'm finished with that, I use the first ear that I designed to start designing the second ear. Normally, there won't be 2 ears on a dragon, so I would just glue the first one on and be done with it. But since I decided to make this design more complex, I have to figure out what I'm going to do for a second ear. Just like the first time, I trace over the first ear that I made to create the second one, transferring the design over. Now, once I am finished, I start to line up where I want everything to go before I hot glue the ears on. Sometimes the ears are flimsy, so I cut out some pieces of cardstock to hot glue on to make the ears sturdier. I would recommend this no matter what, even if you have very strong cardstock, but I extremely recommend it if you don't have good cardstock or you're just using regular paper. I am almost done with this dragon, as all I have left to do is to add the flowers and decorations. I didn't want too much just flat flowers like it was with the normal flowers, so I decided to hot glue them on to create a ton of layers, which I think look really nice on this dragon. And now we are done. If this tutorial has helped you in any way, please feel free to like and subscribe, as it helps me a lot with my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting me, and hopefully this tutorial has helped you out.